you were like 8 years old and you were making mixtapes?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like DJing on a website or something?
Oh my God, how do you know that?
Explain that to us.
But I think the main thing for me is just being able to, like, when you get knocked down, to just get back up. If this door's not opening, there's definitely a reason why, and there's going to be another door.
It's Powertools, and we're here with Whipped Cream. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
It's good to have you here. Now, you, I know sometimes you come out to LA to stay for a while, but home base is Canada for you, right?
Yeah, I live on Vancouver Island.
Okay, Vancouver Island, not just Vancouver.
No, not just Vancouver.
What's the difference between Vancouver and Vancouver Island, besides the amount of people, I would assume?
Yeah, less people. I live on an island, so it's a little chiller. Still city life, but I live in the middle of a little town in a forest in a cabin. Secluded, lots of nature.
Nice.
I love it.
How long have you lived there for?
Oh, man, on and off the last decade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To get to Vancouver, how long does that take?
Boat ride, it's between an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then plane, it's, seaplane, it's like 15 minutes.
That is crazy. And how did you guys, if you don't mind me asking, how did you guys get out to an island? Was it work for your parents? How does one get out to Vancouver Island to live?
My dad, I guess. I grew up in Toronto.
Right.
And he had some family in Vancouver.
Nice.
And he did his research and he looked up the island and he thought it'd be a beautiful place to have our family there.
That's great.
And
which it is, which you love.
Yeah, I do.
Right. And how does that inspire making music in that environment as opposed to making music somewhere like Los Angeles?
Well, the difference is a lot of people in music are here.
Right.
So when I'm here, and if it's a week or 2 or 3 months, I'm just jam-packed. Every day is a work day, and I'm getting this high. I love what I do, so it's great. Let's go. When I'm at home, it's usually just me. I have a couple of friends in Vancouver that will pop by and we'll vibe out and make music, but it's really, really a solo thing there. Right. I love being alone. I love starting ideas alone and finishing ideas alone and waking up and not seeing anybody. It's for me, I love it, and I get really inspired in nature. So it keeps me grounded, and then I come out here, and it's like we're running marathons.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I've read that you've also, wrote music in Utah. Obviously, you write in Canada. You wrote in L.A. Do sometimes you go to a specific city to write, or is it more like you're just there and then inspiration happens?
With Utah, I wanted to go there and write. I really, really, really love Utah.
Right.
I love the mountains. There's something about the colors in the springtime. It's insane. I get off the plane, I'm like, I love it here. So we rented a really dope old school retro Airbnb, and that's where I started an unreleased country album that I'm sitting on right now.
I didn't expect to hear that.
It's not like country, but it's country, country.
Right.
It's my country. No, it's what
Canada's my country. Yeah.
It's like my take on country music.
Okay.
It's not country, but to answer your question, I just go with the flow of life. I have visions in my head. I'd love to go write in Portugal and Korea, and I'll make it all happen at one time. But just kind of go with the flow. And next week I might be somewhere writing. I live in Airbnbs. That's what I do. I'll pick a spot, and then I go and make studios in there.
Wow, that's dope. That's sick.
Thanks.
Now let's go back to the beginning of Whipped Cream, and I want to understand. How did you find your passion for dance music specifically? I know you found your passion for production by seeing Active Child, but for dance music, what was that moment for you where you're like, oh, I think I can mess with this?
It took me a long time. I did not know I liked electronic music, even though I was listening to Chemical Brothers and Madonna and, Daft Punk without knowing I was.
Who was playing Chemical Brothers?
My father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my dad's just
all right, he's got good taste in music.
He's got good taste in everything. Okay. I love my dad. He's probably the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. He introduced me to so many different things, not just music.
Right.
But anyways, your question was how did I get into dance music? So, yeah, I actually hated like dubstep and you know some of these genres growing up.
Right.
I didn't get it. I was like, "What's a bass drop?" Like, I'm not going.
Right.
And then I got dragged to my first show, and physically, and I heard the bass drop, and I was like, "It's so corny," but I was like, "Holy shit!" Like,
Because now you experienced it in person. Right.
and that just changed my life.
Right.
And like,
And who was that you were listening to?
and I was at a Nero show.
Nice.
Nero.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, I was just like, you know, I grew up a competitive figure skater, really like put together, you know, no tattoos, don't dye your hair. It's cool because Alyssa Liu, I think is her name. She's totally like incredible.
Right.
But like back in my day, like.
Right. You couldn't have that back in your day. Right.
No.
Right.
So I got dragged to my first music festival and I was like, wow, like everyone's just themselves and being free and like and I got introduced to new things and started thinking, oh, I do like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after you discovered that, who are some of the DJs or artists you started listening to, you started gravitating to?
Jamie XX, and still to this day,
That
was a big one for me.
Yeah.
Skrillex,
right.
Boys Noise. I really liked Early Day Bauer, Flume.
Okay.
DJ Slink.
So you're seeking out kind of the alternative to the little bit to the left type of electronic music from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right.
I did really like Avicii and like some more mainstream, but I mean Skrillex is how more big can you get? He's the biggest.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you were a figure skater, and I know you had a serious accident, which kind of derailed your career. But my question is, you know, the way you've talked about how you kind of fought back to get back to that same level. How did that determination and work ethic help you as an artist today? Because that's a traumatic thing, because I know you're thinking, I got to get back there, I got to get back there.
Yeah.
And that work ethic has to help you today.
Yeah. I mean, I was the saddest ever in my life. And I remember the physical pain of waking up in the hospital. And then also I remember the mental pain and having to be like, holy cow, like my life is now, I don't know what my life is. I worked my whole life towards this dream. And they're telling me I might have a limp for the rest of my life. So for real, how that applies to my career is lots of crazy things happen every day. You're told no all the time, like in this industry, and told things that are like just absolutely crazy, and you kind of just have to go with like your internal compass. You obviously bring on people you trust, and they go with their internal compasses, and you work as a team. But I think the main thing for me is just being able to, like, when you get knocked down, to just get back up. And like when I put out a record and like if it flops or whatever it is, something always comes out of energy, and you're putting the energy out. That's just it. And so when I look back at my skating days, it was the same thing. Like you fall all the time. You're up at 5 a.m. You don't even want to be at the rink. It's so freaking cold and your body's freezing, but you got to you just keep going. And and then when really shitty things happen, I don't know if I can swear, but when really bad things happen, and I've had some terrible things happen in the last decade in my personal life, not so much in my career, but you just kind of trust. You just got to kind of trust, you know, if this door is not, if this door's not opening, there's definitely a reason why, and there's going to be another door.
And that was kind of you apply it as the figure skating door kind of got closed, but another door open with music.
Yeah, and if I wasn't crazy enough to just trust in myself, like I couldn't see anything, like I couldn't even make music. The things I'm doing now are simply incredible just because I believe that I could learn something.
Right.
In my opinion, because I couldn't even sing. I'm recording my vocals now. I'm bringing in people. Like, this is just me having self-belief. I was not naturally gifted or talented at this.
Right.
No way.
But you kind of like skating, waking up at 5, you put in the hours, you put in the work. And anybody that puts in the work can learn.
Exactly.
They just, sometimes a lot of people don't want to put in the hours.
Yeah, it's lots of sacrifice and a lot of, like, I would say suffering, like not seeing people, not having normality when you start. Now normality is a must.
Right. Now, speaking of your vocals, I think when I was kind of looking at the discography, like you didn't sing on a vocal for like your first 8 or 9 years,
Yeah.
and I think Angels was the first time your vocals was on a record. Was that a confidence thing? Was that my vocals weren't fitting on the music that you were making? What was the reason for going so long?
I had no idea I could sing. And I remember being in a deal with Atlantic Records. I was signed to Big Beat as a producer. And the one of the main guys, Atlantic Craig, he's talking to my A&R. Let's get her to do more. Like, why is she not singing on her songs? I told them, I'm not singing on my songs. I don't do that. I'm a producer. And then literally, as soon as I got out of my deal within that year, I just started trying, like humming things. I was writing so much poetry in my phone and notes, and Fight or Flight, working with all these producers and artists they were putting me in the room with. Right. I learned it. I just picked it up, and then I just started messing around.
Right.
And I'm not like a Mariah Carey, and I'm not like a hit, there's a million amazing songwriters like Josie and all these amazing women. But I have a vibe. I have a soul and a feeling. It's my instrument. Right.
Absolutely. And speaking of, I think one of the songs you're singing on your new album, it's my favorite song on the album, is To You. That's that's like my favorite song.
That one I'm not singing on, but that's a good sample. Tamia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But what I really like is like the Aaliyah style vocal influences on that. Talk to us about the inspiration behind that song.
Well, growing up, I listened to a lot of R&B and rap. Like, literally, that's it. Like, and it was like Ja Rule, Ashanti, Aaliyah, J-Lo, Eminem, Pharrell. I loved Nerd, his band prior to, Beyonce, all of it. I was like 90s. That was it. So this record I always loved, and I just started messing around with it. I'm like, this is so cool. I can bring it into my world. Right. And yeah, I love playing that song. It's one of my favorite ones too on the album.
That is sick. Now on your new album, Home Was Always Me. This album's a little more like dark dance vibes compared to previous stuffs. What was the inspiration for that? Was it like, I want to connect more with the dance floor because I'm DJing? What brought you to this direction?
Definitely, I want to connect more with the dance floor because I'm DJing is a great response to your question. I naturally flow to a little more indie, less dance floor type of music, like the stuff I listen to. Like, I love James Blake and Frank Ocean and Save the Lisa and Active Child and some opera, classical, sad stuff. I love Young Lean, like dissonant stuff. So I'm trying to figure out the code on how I can bring that into the dance world and add hope and have this like yin and yang in a record that I can play at a show, but also vibe in a car or even on your phone at the gyms. I'm trying to crack that code with this album, I think.
I think you did. And is that, as a whole body of work, is that for the whole album, is like, we got to crack this code for the gym to listen to and dance floor?
It's funny because some of the songs are straight like emo guitar, and like there's a song with Killhofer on it that's just like kind of hyper pop synths, and it's a really sad, angry record. So some of it actually doesn't fit the criteria, but it's coming into the palette of color for the painting. No, there was no, I'm speaking outside of the art now and explaining it to you, but everything is just throwing paint at the wall pretty much. It's my diary.
And how, you said you're sitting on an album, like your version of country album. I'm assuming you're writing music almost every day.
Yeah, so...
a lot. You got a lot.
Yeah, and I think the last 3 months was really interesting because I actually didn't write any music the last 3 months, and that is not like me. And I know we were in an album rollout, but there was other personal things going on that I had to go through and become exactly who I am right now. In the last 3 months, something interesting happened for me, through me, whatever, to me, or for me. That's a better answer. And now I am just writing so much music. I have chills. I'm so excited to be here, and I wish I was at the studio. I'm going to the studio right after this.
Right.
And I'm so excited.
Now, that had to be hard to go 3 months without writing music. I know how that is.
It's funny because it wasn't hard.
Right.
But it wasn't me. It wasn't like I need to get in the studio. I just wasn't feeling it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I read, and maybe I have this wrong, you were like 8 years old and you were making mixtapes?
Oh, yeah.
And you're like DJing on a website or something?
Oh, my God. How do you know that? That's awesome.
We got this info. We couldn't figure out exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Explain that to us.
So, yeah, when I was like 7 to like 11 years old, I played this game called Habbo Hotel. And it was like an online game. And I actually played Code.uk. So I was playing like the British version of this game. And you just make a little world and you're like this little Habbo. And it was like my life. Like I would like play it all the time.
Is this like Second Life, kind of similar to this?
Yeah,
okay.
Kind of. Like it's like an online game where you build a character.
Got it.
And there was like Habbo Hotel radio stations. And back in the day, it's like LimeWire and you like download all your music. And I literally had like 18 songs I would just run over and over from my radio. But I was DJ Pink and I had to speak in a British accent so that they knew I was like from there. And I'd be like, hello, it's DJ Pink here on HotRodRadio.com. And like I would play like Naughty Girl by Beyonce and like, yeah. That was real.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And the mixtape thing was just for my ice rink. They would ask me because I had, I guess, good taste, and I would throw in like, Matrix and like rap and all that, and the girls would skate to it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you were the girl in Vancouver that had the cool taste.
Yeah, in Vancouver Island, little town.
Island, right.
So there were 70,000 people in my town at that time. Very little town.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, you've played many festivals everywhere from Coachella to EDC to Tomorrowland. My question to you as a DJ, what was that set where you felt like, man, I can do this. I got this.
Oh.
Where was it? It might not have been at a festival, but where was that in your career when you're like, okay, I can do this?
This is going to sound absolutely insane, but it was before I even started. I remember walking down the street and I just ripped Ableton. Like I couldn't afford anything. I'm walking down the street, I quit my job, and I'm like walking and I could feel this energy and I'm like, I got this, like I'm gonna do this. And I could just feel it. And that's when I knew. But the reality of the actual actions when I knew was probably, I'd say, about 3 years later. I was doing SoundCloud edits of like rap songs, Jersey club songs. That's how I started to learn. And things started getting traction, and I started getting like messages on SoundCloud and like big DJs like, whoa, how'd you do this, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. And then I got booked for Shambhala, which was this massive festival where I live in British Columbia. And I remember playing my first big festival there, and it was insane. It was like the turnout was just like, I'm just a little guppy, and the turnout was crazy. I played at 4 a.m. right up until 5:30 a.m. There was like, I don't know, like 7,000 people there.
Nice.
And I crushed it. I'm not going to lie. That was like a set I'll never forget.
Okay.
And then that was it. People started talking big time after that.
Right. But you also had the confidence.
Yeah. I'm not, it's funny, maybe now I am, but like maybe like 6 months ago up until I was not this very confident person. I was more like in my work confident.
Right.
When a good song's on, I'm confident. Right. When I make a good record, I perform, I DJ, I'm confident. But now I'm learning how to be confident without the music, and that's going to be a freaking game changer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. What else I love about you is that you, and I read this, you are not about the numbers. Like, you are not about the clicks, the amount of plays on a song. You're more about leaving, I think your term was leaving an imprint. Speak about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, because, obviously numbers do matter. It's like when you work with a great partner, you want to perform well so that you can do better work with such partner. But also when I started, I just noticed I know what it's like to like wake up and like have one of your edits at 20 million on YouTube. Like I have witnessed that, and nothing changes.
Right.
like money comes and goes. This is a
Right.
big circle. I know what it's like to have a lot of money. I know what it's like to have to lose everything. So at the end of the day, it's like, how do you choose to walk? What are you here to offer and share with others? How are you here to, make a little difference, and that can be anything, and anyone can do it. Everybody's got something to offer this world to other people. So I think at the end of the day, and also when you really work hard, I think it will eventually pay off regardless in some way.
Right.
That's kind of my motto.
Right.
But I think everybody as a musician's hope is to have a song that impacts as many people as possible. That would be my goal, is to be able to touch the world with my music or my message even,
Right.
Yeah.
That's sick. Going back to your album, another one of my favorite cuts on there is Alive with Know Me. Talk to us about that collab. How did that song come together? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I found Know Me. She was on a Disco Lines song, and I seen him posting it on social media, and I'm like, this is super dope. So I messaged her and I was just like, hey, I would love to work with you. And pretty much I was in LA quickly after that, and she just came in and we made it. And we started a couple of other ideas, and you just know when things aren't going the right way. And then the third idea, it was like boom, and it was like done in an hour. I mean, her top line production took a while, but yeah, natural flow. She's great.
Nice. And sometimes when you cut a vocal with an artist like in another city, do you then take it back and finish it? What is the finishing process after you cut a vocal?
So with Alive, it was like half done. Like I had just started it that morning before she got here. I started a couple ideas before she got in the room, and I do really like to work like that. I'll think of the artist vibe, and then I'll just start something, even though it's probably going to be on my project. It helps me because if I mess with them as an artist, there's usually some similarities or polarities that work well.
Right.
So that's kind of what I did. I had started that record in the morning, and I showed it to her, and there's a couple other songs she liked actually more than this one, but this is the one that just worked for us. And then I took it back and I finished it in Canada.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is that how most of your collabs work? Do you like to be in the room with the artist when you're collabing?
Way more.
Right.
I like it way more. Why? If it's yeah, no, I like it way more. I do love working alone, though. I'd say 75% of my work is done alone. Right. But when I really mess with an artist, specifically rappers and singers, we're going to do way better work if you just come in the room, because it's just energy exchange at that point.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. Some artists prefer me to send a beat pack. It's harder that way. If I'm just a producer for somebody, that's fine.
Right.
But if they want me on as with creative input, it's good to be in the room.
Yeah, it's good to be in the room, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about being a female producer, artist, vocalist. I know you've had to, there's a lot of uphill, especially in this type of, sector of dance music. Talk to us. I guess, what would your advice be to an up-and-coming female producer artist? What would your advice be for them right now?
Don't take any comments to heart. Literally, don't anything you read, anything anyone tells you that is just ridiculous. Right. That's untrue or whatever it is. That is the biggest thing, because it took me maybe 3 or 4 years to I can see the most nastiest, insane comment ever, and it doesn't impact me at all. I'm just it's nothing. It's nothing. Right. So I think that's the biggest thing, because as a woman, this is extremely hard, and extremely. And one day I'll talk more about it. But horse blinders on. Mm-hmm. You trust your gut. Let people talk. The goal is to change their perception, not your goal. You want people to have I don't know. I could really go on a detailed thing about this, but I will say my advice for young women would be keep good people around you. You're going to turn into such an amazing person doing what you love, and a lot of really interesting, unfair things will be said and done, and play it against you, and you must just carry on and work through the music. And guess what? The music, the sets, the people, your message, your art, it eventually outweighs anything anyone thinks. And I've had the biggest haters turn into supporters. It's not about that. I'm not here to be like vindictive or be like, yeah, I told you I'm not one day going to win a Grammy or be nominated for a Grammy, and be like, yeah, I told you I was actually producing my stuff. I just do my thing, believe it or not. And then if you're a woman listening to this, just I'm so proud of you. I love women producers and musicians and anything women. You guys feel things and you have something to offer this world, and it's not easy. So as you start climbing, it's going to be a beautiful journey. You're going to turn into the most amazing person.
So now I have a question for you, because I want to see where you stand on this, because you are a vocalist and are a producer. And I'm sure you might have strong feelings one way or the other with dealing with AI vocals, because maybe as a vocalist you're like, I hate this, but maybe as a producer you're like, this is great. Mm-hmm. So where do you kind of stand with AI vocals right now?
My view on AI,
or AI in general in music, should I say?
Yeah. Personally, I don't use it.
Right.
I will say that, but this is my view on it. Things are changing and evolving with social media, with technology and everything. And AI is kind of like this magic extension paintbrush that one could use to take, a melody or a hook or, piano, whatever, drums. Okay. So when you dig in and I have played, I had a partnership with Suno. We did a couple of things together. Mm-hmm. I've never released anything using anything though. It's a really interesting, cool thing as a producer to go in and have this freaking playground and plethora of things to experiment with and see. And so to each their own, I say they can never replace soul. The computer can never replace soul, no matter how hard you try. It's just, it's not gonna, in my opinion, it's just not gonna, a robot's not gonna go and DJ. Well, watch next year, there'll be a robot DJing Coachella.
But I know what you're saying. It's not going to replace the soul. I get it.
And I just love making music too much to be on Suno all day. And maybe I'd get my hit a little quicker doing that. But I don't know. Again, what's your message? What do you stand for? And I actually don't hate on anyone doing anything. I just think, man, if you're having fun and you make a dope record and you're making your ex-boyfriend's texts into a Suno song and putting it on TikTok, that's hilarious. I think that's funny. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good ex-boyfriend texts on TikTok. They're going viral and they're like, "Baby girl, pick up." It's like an R&B record.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So what do you got cooking for the rest of 2026? You just dropped the album.
Yeah.
Got a tour coming up. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm so freaking excited for the tour. It feels like I haven't played in so long because we were getting this album put together. We have a beautiful, massive run. I cannot wait. It's going to be extremely intimate and some very special things at certain shows. Specifically, LA will be a really special one.
Nice.
And then we have some good festivals coming. And yeah, with the music, it's just such an exciting time. I don't know. I just feel so uplifted by all of the people listening right now and the things that we've been able to create and build together.
Right.
This is like a family we're building. And right now I'm just in the studio doing double days, 2 sessions a day right now. And yeah, I don't know. Right now I'm going with the flow and we will see what's next.
Right.
Yeah.
And when on your tour, are you doing, is it 100% your own music that you're playing, or are you doing 80-20?
Yeah, so today we did actually a really cool set this morning, and I'd say the set's about 90%. It was 90% my own music on the album, some older records and remixes. On my tour, I would say it will be about 70% originals, and then the rest will be remixes. I tend to play, I would say, 30% of other records that I'm a DJ. I love finding a good a good house tune by,
Right.
Odd Mob or, Jamie XX and throwing it in here and there. And I love rap too. So I'm definitely using a lot of rap vocals and stuff like that. But it's definitely a whipped cream set. Like you can't miss it.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming by. The new album is really, really sick, and we're excited for the tour.
Yay. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Powertools.